In this tutorial, I'm going to discuss consumption, saving, and debt, and their relationships. One thing we learned from our grandparents, that's my grandmother, by the way, when she was 17, is to save money to buy things. And I think today, people will debt themselves instead. So if I wanted to buy a bicycle, I had to save my money to consume tomorrow. There's a trade-off between current consumption and future consumption, because that's why we save, is to consume in the future. So if interest rates are 0, there's no incentive to use a bank. But if interest rates are around 5%, then there's an incentive to put your money in a bank. As interest rates rise, as we say, that's R, as they go up, there's an incentive to save. And there's also an incentive to accumulate less debt. Consumption depends on a lot of different things. If you think your income is going to continue to rise from now and into the future, what you will do is you will save less and consume more. So consumption rises and savings fall. Debt levels rise too. You'll more likely to put things on credit cards and buy houses because you'll think you'll be able to afford those payments in the future. You always think that the good times will continue to roll on, like the Cars saying. I think it was from the album Candy-O. Now, on the other hand, if you think income's going to fall from now on into the future, you're more likely to consume less and save more, so savings rise. The same things happen too if you are uncertain about your future income and you don't know, you're more likely to consume less, so consumption falls and savings rise at the same time. So uncertainty and a fallen income pretty much behave the same way in regards to consumption and savings. Now, if interest rates rise, debt decreases. And the reason for this is it's cheaper to borrow money. So debt decreases if interest rates rise. So if interest rates go up, or you think they're going to go up in the future, what you're going to see is debt levels decrease. Saving also increases at higher interest rates, or at least in theory it does. Anticipation plays an important role in consumption, savings, and debt as well. Right now, as of February 2011, we have low interest rates and uncertain future. We have one that says to save, and the other one tells us to accumulate debt or to borrow money. These are opposing forces right now, and I'll call this kind of a paradox, for lack of a better word. If we look at the prime rate from 1960 to the present, what we find is it's at a very low rate, historically low. It's the lowest it's been in the past 50 years. So there should be an incentive for people to take out mortgages and to borrow money, but they're not. During recessions, American consumers, what they do, or American households, they actually pay down debt. And we've seen that occur several times in recent history. In the 1990s, consumers spent 15 months paying down debt. Now consumers have gone 23 consecutive months paying down debt, and I think that is due to several factors, one of them being uncertainty, not knowing about the future. Of course, if consumers are paying down debt, they're consuming less, and paying down debt is a savings type thing to do anyway. Theoretically, there could be an anticipation of increased taxes, and this is called the Ricardo Equivalence theory, after David Ricardo. I should have my own theory too. Since governments do not have a source of revenue other than taxing, governments can tax now or tax later. Real government debt since 1980 has gone up dramatically. In 1980, it was $3 trillion. By 1990, it had risen to $5 trillion. 2000, it was at $5.8 trillion. And by 2010, the close of 2010, it had reached $14 trillion. With this much debt, there's a feeling that taxes will have to be eventually raised, because someday it has to be paid back. With this much debt, there's a lot of uncertainty what's going to happen in the economy in the future. Not necessarily, I don't think, people being afraid of taxes being risen. And of course, our government is telling us right now, don't worry about a thing. Everything's going to be all right. Just keep piling on the debt. eventually the debt does have to be paid back. Now, if taxes are risen or taxes rise, savings fall. So it's actually a tax increase is a reduction in income. Right now in the U.S. economy and also several other economies of the world, there's a lot of uncertainty. And this is actually negatively impacting consumption, and people are saving more, which ultimately will be a good thing.